Part 1. The Invitation. The rain fell in a steady, mournful rhythm as Max sat alone in his small, dimly lit apartment. His life had become a monotonous cycle of work, home, and solitude. His world was a canvas painted in shades of gray, devoid of vibrancy or excitement. A feeling of restlessness gnawed at his soul, but he couldn't quite put his finger on what was missing. One evening, while sipping his lukewarm coffee and gazing out the rain-streaked window, he received a curious email. The sender's address was nothing more than a jumble of letters and numbers, but the subject line was simple and intriguing. The Red Room. Max hesitated, his mouse hovering over the message. Was it spam, a prank, or something more sinister? Curiosity got the better of him, and he opened the email. It contained a cryptic message. Embrace the unknown. Visit the Red Room at 97 Juniper Street at the stroke of midnight this Saturday. Dare to experience the extraordinary. Max's heart raced. He had always been a curious soul, and the promise of an extraordinary experience pulled him out of his usual routine. He couldn't ignore the allure of adventure any longer. The following days were a blur of anticipation. Max researched Juniper Street and discovered it was an old, forgotten part of the city, hidden away from the bustling metropolis. Saturday night approached, and Max couldn't resist the call of the unknown. He put on his coat, stepped out into the cold, damp evening, and embarked on a journey that would change his life forever. Part 2. The Red Door. The night was heavy with an eerie silence as Max walked down Juniper Street. It was like a street lost in time, the buildings worn and crumbling, their facades marred by layers of graffiti. Rain had transformed the cobblestone road into a shimmering river of light, reflecting the flickering street lamps above. At last, he reached the address. 97 Juniper Street. Before him stood a derelict, three-story building, the sign above the entrance barely legible. The door was a deep, inviting shade of crimson, a stark contrast to the decay around it. Max hesitated, his heart pounding, and then reached out to turn the knob. To his surprise, the door creaked open effortlessly. Inside, a dimly lit corridor stretched before him. The air was thick with the scent of old wood and dampness. The hallway seemed endless, its corners shrouded in shadows. As Max ventured deeper into the building, he could hear faint echoes, whispers, and laughter. Following the trail of crimson, he arrived at a small, inviting room bathed in red light. The room's walls were adorned with mysterious symbols and art, and its center featured a circular crimson velvet couch. The ambiance was mesmerizing, and an odd sense of calm enveloped Max. The room beckoned him to stay. "Welcome, Max," a voice echoed through the room, startling him. He turned to find a tall, enigmatic figure in a flowing red robe standing in the doorway. The stranger's face was hidden beneath a hood, and only piercing eyes gleamed from the shadows. I received an email, Max stammered. Yes, you were expected, the hooded figure replied, his voice both soothing and commanding. The Red Room chooses those who seek a new path, who dare to escape the monotony of everyday life. Will you accept the challenge? Max hesitated, his mind racing, but he couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. I will, he replied, with conviction. The hooded figure nodded and beckoned for Max to sit on the couch. Then prepare to experience the extraordinary. Part 3. The Crimson Journey. Max settled into the plush velvet of the couch, his heart pounding with excitement. The hooded figure stepped closer, and with a gesture, the room came alive. The symbols on the walls began to glow, casting ethereal patterns of light on the floor. The atmosphere grew warmer, and Max felt as though he were floating in a sea of crimson. Close your eyes, Max, the figure instructed, and Max obeyed. Darkness engulfed him, and he felt a gentle, otherworldly touch on his forehead. It was as if his very soul was being caressed. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in an entirely different place. Max stood on a vast red desert, the sky a stunning fusion of crimson and gold. Towering dunes stretched as far as the eye could see. He was no longer in the decaying building on Juniper Street, and the mysterious figure had vanished. Intrigued and undaunted, Max ventured into the desert. As he walked, he discovered strange, shimmering crystals embedded in the sands, each one pulsating with a mesmerizing light. The wind carried distant whispers, a language he couldn't understand, but it filled him with a sense of wonder. Hours turned into days as Max journeyed through the desert, living on the edge of reality and dreams. He encountered surreal landscapes and enigmatic beings. Each step was a revelation, each encounter a profound experience. As he walked beneath a blood-red sun, Max realized that he was no longer the man he used to be. The monotony and grayness of his former life had been replaced by vibrant, ever-changing hues of red. The Red Room had transformed him, and he embraced the extraordinary with open arms. Part 4. The Test of Time. In the heart of the Crimson Desert, Max came upon a colossal, ancient hourglass. It stood as a sentinel of time, its red sands flowing endlessly from one chamber to another. A voice echoed in his mind, beckoning him to turn the hourglass. With reverence, Max obeyed. The sands shifted, and the world around him changed once more. He found himself in a bustling city of red and gold, a place where vibrant crimson buildings reached for the heavens, and people moved with grace and purpose. The city's inhabitants possessed a timeless quality. They moved with an air of wisdom and serenity, and they welcomed Max as one of their own. He learned from them, gaining insight into the boundless potential of the human spirit and the power of embracing the unknown. Years passed in the city of red and gold, but time held no dominion over Max. He had become a student of the extraordinary, and he reveled in the endless adventures and mysteries of this vibrant world. He had left behind the gray existence of his former life, and there was no turning back. One day, as Max strolled through a majestic crimson garden, he encountered the hooded figure from the Red Room once more. This time, the figure's hood was down, revealing a face as ageless as the city itself. "You have journeyed far, Max," the figure said, his eyes filled with wisdom. "Now, you face the ultimate test." Max was ready, having learned the ways of the Red City and the strength within himself. With the figure's guidance, he embarked on a quest to retrieve a legendary artifact, the Heart of Vermilion. It was said to hold the power to shape reality itself. The journey was perilous, filled with trials and challenges that tested Max's newfound abilities and resolve. Along the way, he encountered allies and adversaries, faced his deepest fears, and unlocked hidden potentials within himself. Each step was a brushstroke on the canvas of his destiny. Part 5. The Heart of Vermilion. After months of arduous trials, Max stood before the Heart of Vermilion. It was a magnificent, pulsating crystal, radiant with the power to change the fabric of reality. The hooded figure explained that Max had the choice to use it as he saw fit, but the consequences of his actions would ripple through time and space. Max hesitated, reflecting on the transformative journey that had brought him to this moment. He knew the seductive allure of the power before him, but he also understood the responsibility it carried. In the end, he made a choice that would echo through the annals of time. With great humility, Max touched the Heart of Vermilion and spoke a single word: balance. The crystal responded, and the world around him shifted. He found himself back in the Red Room on Juniper Street, the crimson hues casting a warm, soothing glow. The hooded figure stood before him, a smile of approval on his face. "You have chosen wisely, Max," the figure said. "You have embraced the extraordinary and found the balance that eludes so many. Your journey has come full circle." Max's adventure in the Red Room had been extraordinary, but it was time to return to the world he once knew. With a sense of contentment and gratitude, he stepped out of the room and into the cold, damp night. The door closed behind him, and the crimson light vanished. Part 6. The Return Back. In his small apartment, Max reflected on the profound experiences of the Red Room. It felt like a dream, a distant memory, yet he knew it had been real. The grayness of his former life now seemed like a fading shadow, and he carried the wisdom of the Red City with him. Life had become a vibrant tapestry of colors and possibilities. Max continued to work, but he approached each day with a newfound sense of purpose and adventure. He rekindled old friendships and forged new ones, sharing the lessons he had learned with others. The world around him began to change as well. The city that once seemed dull and lifeless now revealed its hidden beauty. He saw the extraordinary in everyday moments, and the monotonous routines of life became opportunities for growth and transformation. Years passed, and Max's story of the Red Room became a legend, a source of inspiration for those who felt trapped in the cycle of gray existence. The email that had led him to the unknown was now a beacon of hope for countless others seeking their own extraordinary journeys. In the end, Max had found the balance he sought, a harmony between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The Red Room had opened his eyes to the infinite possibilities of life, and he had embraced the power of choice and responsibility. As he gazed out of his apartment window, rain falling on the streets below, Max knew that the adventure would never truly end. The Red Room had become a part of him, a reminder that the extraordinary was always within reach, waiting for those brave enough to seek it. And so, Max's story continued, an ever-unfolding tapestry of colors, mysteries, and endless possibilities, guided by the wisdom of the Red Room.